What Asia Wilson just did was unprecedented. I mean, on so many levels. She's arguably, allegedly, the reason Caitlyn Clark was assaulted the entire 2024 basketball season in the W. I mean, what Asia Wilson just did is really like, there's no coming back from this.
Asia Wilson's whole positive vibes routine just took a M5 hit, and fans are starting to see the cracks for months. She played it cool, acting unbothered, while her fans were dragging Caitlyn Clark through the mud over this Nike signature shoe drama. But now the truth is out, and it's hilarious. During Asia's shoe launch, she revealed that she's been sitting on her own shoe deal with Nike for 2 years. That's right, 2 whole years, while everyone was losing their minds claiming Caitlyn was getting special treatment, screaming that the shoe brand was disrespecting Asia, the league MVP. And what did Wilson do? She said nothing. She sat back, smiled for the cameras, and let her fans wage war on Caitlyn.
Was oddly silent, but complicit. All right, why was she complicit? Because, well, she knew she was getting a signature shoe for 2 years, and she let Caitlyn Clark take all that.
Now let's rewind for a second. Remember when social media was in flames over Caitlyn Clark's signature shoe deal? How dare Caitlyn get a shoe before Asia? They screamed, and through it all, Asia was right there letting it play out like she wasn't in the loop. She even fed into the narrative, dropping subtle comments about respect and deserving more on Twitter, giving her fans exactly what they needed to keep up the attacks.
And so for Nike to put her in the position where she then has to go on social media and kind of cool her fans and like urge them to be patient and almost like defend Nike, it's such a disappointment, but it's not a surprise because Nike has done it before.
But here's the reality. Asia knew she knew the whole time that her signature shoe was locked in, being designed, polished, and prepped for release. She knew she was getting her flowers, her bag, her moment. And she still let the world believe Nike had overlooked her for Caitlyn. That's not being unbothered. That's calculated.
Any ideas what you would want your future sneaker to look like?
I think the biggest thing for me is just I would love a low top shoe. I play in a low top shoe, so that's something that I would love to have carry over and something that looks good. That's so key to me.
Let's call it what it is, Asia. Let Caitlyn Clark become the scapegoat so she could soak up the sympathy. She let Clark, a rookie at that time, take hit after hit online, all while she watched. And for what? For a few more retweets for her fan base to scream louder. Because let's be honest, Wilson's fans have been on a mission to drag Caitlyn from the second she stepped into the WNBA. And this shoe controversy, that was their golden ticket.
Asia Wilson, who? Why? Yeah, she's some WNBA player. Who? No, she's one of the all-time greatest players.
But now the truth is out, and suddenly all those passionate Asia defenders have gone quiet. Funny how that works. It turns out the disrespect wasn't coming from Nike, it was coming from Asia. And the people who let this lie spiral out of control. Caitlyn Clark was just minding her business, trying to elevate the game, while Asia was playing victim with the narrative. Oh, but here's the real question. If you knew you already had your flowers, the shoe deal, the brand backing the legacy cemented, why sit back and let your own fans wage war on a rookie? Why let them act like you were some overlooked underdog when behind the scenes you were already sitting on a shoe? All it would have taken was a quick tweet, a casual "don't worry, my show's coming," and all that noise would have stopped. But she didn't. She let it build. She let Caitlyn Clark's name get dragged through the mud like she was some sneaker-stealing villain. And now suddenly the truth's out. And all those same people who were foaming at the mouth, screaming about unfair treatment, are backtracking like they didn't spend months launching attacks.
And these WNBA fans that did not want to see Caitlyn Clark come in and do what she did, which was dominate the league. Led the league in assists as a rookie. After the season, I think I counted she broke something in the neighborhood of 63 records last year. Either rookie records or just flat records by anybody, not even a rookie. And all these fans have been mad. And all the while, Asia Wilson sat back and was just plenty happy to play the victim. She could have come out and made some kind of a statement that would have called off the dogs. Nah, she didn't.
Let's be real. This is about more than shoes. This is about how Caitlyn Clark has been treated since the second she stepped into the WNBA. It's like she walked into a room and an STLY had a target on her back. She wasn't celebrated. She was resented. Why? Because she brought millions of new fans. Because she made people who never cared about the league suddenly pay attention. Because Nike saw her talent and the numbers and said, yeah, this is the future. Caitlyn didn't take anyone's spot. She didn't cheat the system. She earned that shoe deal the same way she earned her place in the WNBA, by being better than everyone else.
How could they give Caitlyn a shoe before they give Asia one? Oh, how could they do this? How could they treat Asia like this? 2-time MVP at the time, just before she even won the damn third one. They is wrong for doing this. You want to?
And while she was getting shoved on the court foul like it was WWE and slandered online, Asia Wilson had the power to calm it all down. But she didn't. She stayed silent. And that silence, it said everything. It said, I see what's happening, and I'm fine with it. Because if the roles were reversed, if Caitlyn Clark's fans were attacking Asia Wilson, you'd be hearing about it on every sports network, think pieces, social media outrage, and ESPN hot takes will be trending on Twitter. You know the drill. But when it's Caitlyn's silence, and it's not just Wilson, look at Nike. They rolled out a campaign celebrating their female athletes during the Super Bowl, a huge win. But the day after, when they released another commercial, somehow Caitlyn Clark, the face of women's basketball.
You want to know what I'm selling? I'm selling greatness. Asia Wilson, 3-time MVP. We got Jordan Childs. We got Juju Watkins. We got Sha'Carri Richardson.
Okay.
And we got Arena Sabalenka.
Champion.
Hustling is not easy, but I love it. Sabrina, I know you want to cheat. Thinking about it? You're thinking about it. They're going to go fast. Kind of like Sha'Carri. I accept card. Where's the card? Come on.
Oh, wait, but what's in that box?
These don't come out till March. They may or may not be shirts, but if I tell you, I'm going to have to kill you. Oh, you want one of these? Nike.com. Who wants a t-shirt?
We wouldn't notice. But we did. We saw it. That wasn't in sight. That was intentional. That was Nike saying, yeah, we like the money she brings in, but we don't want her in the photo.
Favorite thing of all. So let's take a listen to this. Nike actually put this one out after the fact.
You want to know what I'm selling? Rookie of the Year, Caitlyn Clark. I know you want a tee.
Okay.
Nike.com.
They re-recorded it. Like, that's not even, I mean that. That's like.
How does this happen? How does the player who's literally trans perform the WNBA, the most popular female athlete in all of America, the one whose games are drawing NBA level numbers, get sidelined? Simple. Because the league, the veterans, the old guard, they don't want her. They'll take the profits she brings. But they won't embrace her. Instead of celebrating Caitlyn Clark, they tolerate her. They use her success, but won't protect her when she's being attacked. They treat her like an outsider, as if she hasn't earned every bit of success.
Looking good for Nike yet again, dog. I don't even know how many videos I'm gonna make today about Nike, but it looked like Nike is definitely the star of the day. All started with the Super Bowl commercial, them snubbing Caitlyn, them putting Caitlyn in, them fixing the commercial, them dropping Asia's shoe. Now, come to find out, Asia Wilson has single-handedly killed the WNBA media credibility forever. Yes. Oh my goodness. These women was lying. Oh God almighty. They made such a big deal over Caitlyn Clark getting a shoe deal over.
Asia Wilson's silence is just part of the problem. She didn't need to tweet anything nasty. She didn't need to say Caitlyn's name. All she had to do was sit back, let her fans do the dirty work, and enjoy the show. And it worked until the truth came out during her shoe release. But here's the thing, Caitlyn's still here. She's still breaking records, still selling out arenas, still dominating the headlines. The WNBA can try to push her aside all they want, but the fans know, the sponsors know, and deep down, even the haters know. Caitlyn Clark is the future. But the real damage isn't to Caitlyn. She's built for this. It's the league that's suffering. You can't treat your biggest star like a problem and expect to grow. Every shove, every snub, every fake controversy, they all make the WNBA look small, insecure, and prepared for what Caitlyn Clark is bringing. The sales. Don't lie the crowds. Don't lie the viewership. Don't lie, Caitlyn Clark is the biggest thing to ever happen to the WNBA. And the way she's being treated is a disgrace.
Swoops made news. Now, she made news last week when she sat up there and was applauding Indiana Fever players, but then forgot to mention Caitlin Clark. She jumped all in my ass because I sat up there and said, hey, how you going to ignore Caitlin Clark? You know what she brings to the table. How you just going to ignore her?
So yeah, Asia got her shoe, good for her. But the way this all played out, the months of fake outrage, the attacks on Caitlyn, the lies it exposed, something ugly. It showed us that for all the talk about growing the game, some of these so-called leaders would rather protect their egos than embrace the future Caitlin Clark is that future whether they like it or not. She's not going anywhere. And as for Asia Wilson, congrats on the shoes. But next time, maybe use your voice for more than just sneaker launches.
Backlash on this was quite significant. Everybody was calling out, why are you not marketing your most marketable player? And I cannot disagree because Nike, why? Your stock is going down. Do you realize that Caitlin Clark's jersey sold out right after she was drafted, with an increase in over 1,000% reported for the
Asia Wilson is out here celebrating her signature shoe deal, flexing that new A1 sneaker like it's the WNBA trophy. And you know what she should be proud? A signature shoe is a massive achievement for any athlete, especially in women's basketball. But while Asia's out here doing photo ops and soaking up the praise, she might not realize she's also accidentally exposed the double standard that's been hanging over the league like a dark cloud ever since Caitlin Clark arrived.
This tour has officially took off running. We got Asia Wilson talking about, oh, I've been waiting 2 years for this. Wait, 2 years for this? 2 years for this, 2025, 2023, CC's announced in 2024. Delayed, not denied in 2024. Backlash all 2024. I've been waiting 2 years for this. And then we got Cheryl Swoops. There it is. Swoops. There it is. Cheryl Swoops couldn't help but embarrass herself.
Because let's be honest, imagine if Caitlin Clark had been the one to get her signature sneaker. First picture, this Clark signs a massive deal. Nike unveils the Caitlin one. And you already know what would have happened. The internet would have exploded. The same people who are now showering Asia with love would have suddenly had a laundry list of complaints. She hasn't earned it. They'd say, what about the veterans? They'd cry. And you know who would have led the charge? Cheryl Swoops. Because of course she would. And guess what? This is exactly how it played out months ago.
I feel so lucky to be a part of the Nike basketball family for more than 30 years now. And I love to see how the brand continues to champion women's basketball and athletes who play it. I didn't text Asia. I didn't call Asia. I'm talking like you're not here right now.
And right on cue, there's Swoops. The moment Asia's shoe dropped, Swoops was front and center, pom-poms in hand, cheering like she was at a college pep rally. The same Cheryl Swoops who can't seem to let a week go by without taking some kind of backhanded swipe at Caitlin Clark. Funny how that works, right? When it's Wilson, it's all love. But when it's Caitlin breaking records, carrying the league, and earning every deal she gets, suddenly Swoops turns into the WA's personal gatekeeper, reminding us all that back in her day, things were different, that Clark wasn't dominant.
We say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5
That's crazy.
5.6
Those
turnovers,
are hell of a number. Those are hell of a number.
But to me, that's not dominating.
Yeah, it's only not dominating because she's a rookie.
Now,
if she's putting up numbers like Asia right now, would she be dominating?
Yes.
So it's a
Nobody is taking anything away from Wilson. She's a 3-time NBA champion and absolutely deserves this moment. But it's the hypocrisy for me. It's the way certain players and fans switch up depending on who's winning. If Caitlin Clark is in the headlines, it's favoritism. If Asia's in the headlines, it's hard work paying off. Make it make sense. And it wasn't just the shoot. This has been a pattern since day one when Caitlin entered the league. She didn't get a warm welcome. She got elbows to the ribs, cheap fouls, petty digs in interviews, and all while fans on social media turned into a mob, making her the target of every bit of frustration they had with the W's growth. You would think a player bringing millions of new
I feel like I'm getting hammered.
And Wilson, she's part of that old guard now, whether she wants to admit it or not. She's in that circle, the circle that's been watching Caitlin Clark revolutionize the league and doing everything in their power to downplay it. It's subtle. Sometimes a passive-aggressive comment here, a shady tweet there, or sometimes it's just silence, letting others do the dirty, dirty work while you keep your hands clean.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
But here's the thing, Caitlin Clark doesn't need their approval. She's got the fans, she's got the viewership, she's got the records, and now her shoe is on its way, all while taking elbows, cheap fouls, and hate from every direction, and never once lowering herself to their level. Meanwhile, Wilson is celebrating her A1 sneaker. Good for her. She deserves it. But let's not pretend we didn't see how she got here. Let's not ignore the fact that her rise came with the help of a league that's been far more protective of her than they've ever been of Caitlin Clark.
Little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that. How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Cooking all off season, the WNBA is changing, and the veterans know it. Caitlin Clark is not just the future. She's the present. That's why the billboards are going up. That's why ticket prices are skyrocketing. That's why networks are fighting for broadcasting rights. She's not just a player. She's a movement, and the league can either embrace it or get left behind.